brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Nick Wright joins us. So I said, Kevin Durant, I think, downgraded in the owner, GM, coach thing and top teammate thing. Kawhi Leonard, I think, is set with Steve Ballmer, Doc Rivers, Paul George, Lou Williams, quality front office. And I think in 5 years from today, Kawhi's going to have 4 or 5 finals, 3 or 4 MVPs.
Oh, my God.
And Kevin...
3 or 4 MVPs. You're out of your mind. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's your show. You've gone crazy. All right, first of all, as far as Kawhi Leonard, and one could argue he has gotten worse as far as franchise, GM, and coach at each place. You go from Popovich and the Spurs, the best in the league, to Masai Ujiri, Nick Nurse, who's about to win Coach of the Year, and a team that won 60 games without you, and now you're at the Clippers. And listen, Doc Rivers did coach in a finals back when W was president, so maybe some of that will still rub off on him. I don't know. I do know that he had Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, and they never even made a conference finals. But this is unbelievable, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to defend Kevin Durant. Because you did a vintage Colin Cowherd thing. You did 2 vintage Colin Cowherd things today already. Show's only 32 minutes long. One was, you were like, I'm a minimalist when you were talking about buying what I assume was your 3rd or 4th piece of real estate of the week. The other one was when you said, listen, oh yeah, Kawhi and KD, they both made a bunch of all-star teams. Well, one guy's made 10, the other guy's made 4. So if KD retires and Kawhi Leonard makes the next 5 all-star teams, he'll almost catch him. Do you know where Kawhi Leonard ranks in NBA history in points? I'll answer it for you. You don't, because no one does, because the rankings only go through 250, and he ain't in the top 250, Colin. I got 3 names for you. Wesley Matthews, Marvin Williams, and Jeff Teague. Those 3 all-time greats have all scored more points in their career than Kawhi. I've got 3 more names for you. Jared Dudley, amazing unselfish player Lance Stevenson, and dynamic playmaker Dwight Howard. Those 3 players all have more career assists than Kawhi. He's 29 years old. He's not a young guy. Before we start saying he's going to be better than Kevin Durant, can he match Joe Fulks? No disrespect to the Katawa Clipper for first-team All-NBAs. Like, just pump the brakes, please. I mean, it's just KD misses 1 year and you forget who he is.
Well, when Kawhi wins the title this year on a 3rd different team.
Yeah, when he wins the next 6. Okay, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. He's got to win the title first. He's got to actually win the title first.
So I was saying this yesterday, when you've been title-starved and you get a little taste of it in Kansas City, you just gorge. You binge. So I got Chris Jones now is like, at 5 parades, 7. And I'm like, did Belichick retire? Is Lamar Jackson not playing? What if Drew Lock is amazing? Now, the highest-paid quarterback hasn't won a Super Bowl since the early 90s. Could we slow the Kansas City dynasty down a tad? Little bit?
Well, luckily, Mahomes will never be the highest paid. He doesn't have a cap hit that hits $40 million for 7 years. By then, the NFL salary cap be $30 million. The fact that you included Drew Lock, I'm going to just assume that was a senior moment. We're going to throw that out. But listen, here's the thing about the NFL, Colin. Dynasties are regular occurrences. Every decade ever has had them. The 60s had a dynasty, they were the Packers. The 70s had a dynasty, they were the Steelers. The 80s had a dynasty, it was the Niners. The 90s had a dynasty, it was the Cowboys. The aughts had a dynasty, it was the Patriots. The 10s had a dynasty, it was the Patriots. And by the way, within those years, you had kind of mini dynasties. The Dolphins made 3 straight Super Bowls and won 2 in the 70s. In the 80s, the Giants made 2 out of 5 years, won 2 out of 5. In the 90s, the Broncos went back to back. Like, dynasties in basketball and football always happen. So I heard you mention Baltimore. Baltimore is unbelievable. It would be nice, listen, Lamar's 19-2 in his career in the regular season as a starter against everyone except for that guy, who he's 0-2 against, and he's yet to win a playoff game. Meanwhile, Mahomes has had the lead with 1 minute left in every playoff game he's ever played in. So I'm not exactly terrified about Baltimore. Drew Lock, okay. And the Chiefs, if you had to pick a team that's going to win a bunch of Super Bowls, of course you'd pick the Chiefs. And one more note. I heard you mention no preseason, limited offseason. The last time we had this, 2010 going into 2011. What happened? The Packers, Super Bowl champions in 2010. Nobody has an offseason. 2011, they go 15-1. The lack of an offseason helps teams that are bringing back starters that have continuity. The Chiefs have that more than anybody.
Reasonable argument. Okay, let's shift to this. I'll give you LeBron to finish up. If I ask you tomorrow, no more sports for you, I want a farm report, and you did it brilliantly, I would be like, oof, that's an MVP level broadcaster. LeBron is now asked, hey, just be a point guard. Avery Bradley won't play in the playoffs. Rondo won't. A new coach, new roster, new best teammate, play a new position, and he leads the league in assists. I don't even think the MVP race is close. He's had so much more to overcome than Giannis or a Harden. But I hear you're not LeBron MVP guy this year.
No, Giannis is the MVP. Here's the deal. LeBron rightfully should have 7 league MVPs. In year 3, he finished second to Steve Nash. That was when the whole media was just nuts over Nash. It was Nash's second. That was an absurdity. And the Derrick Rose MVP was obviously, the media was angry because LeBron went to Miami. And Steph's first MVP, LeBron's first year back in Cleveland, he should have won all 3 of those. But this year, Giannis deserves it. Giannis is averaging as many points in as minutes as he's playing, 30 points in 30 minutes. And yes, LeBron has been asked to do so much, but he also does have AD alongside him. Now, I think it goes along. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won Finals MVP separated by 13 seasons. LeBron's going to have top 2 MVP finishes separated by 13 seasons. It speaks to the longevity of what he's accomplished. But Giannis deserves to win the MVP. Let me add this, though, Colin. I don't know if it's good for him. And by that, I only mean this. If the Bucks don't win the title, the back-to-back MVPs will start to be used against Giannis.
Yeah.
If the Bucks don't win the title, Giannis is next man up. What the media did to LeBron, and he ended up leaving Cleveland. What the media did to KD, and he ended up leaving OKC. They will do to Giannis. If you are that level of player and you don't break through with a championship, it starts being used as a negative. So he's going to do something only Hakeem and Jordan did. LeBron should have done it in 2013. He got screwed by a couple of the voters, which is win league MVP and defensive player of the year in the same season. But if he finishes it off with a NBA championship, then there's no question who the best player alive is. If he doesn't, people will start tearing him down, maybe unfairly. But that's what he is in store for over the next 8 weeks as we determine what Milwaukee can do.
I thought you were very good today. You brought a lot of energy. Didn't like the senior moment shot at me, but you get a little bit of gray hair. That's that's what you get. Nick Wright, first things first.
Sorry, see you later, man.
All right.
Download the all-new Fox Sports app now.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.